Let's go to Tucker Carlson now. And he's talking about, I think, the same thing as I've been talking about, Neil Oliver was talking about, and Justin Trudeau was telling you is coming under his leadership. This is a great piece from Tucker.
The Justice Department to knock the front runner out of the race on fake charges, period. And if you allow that, you're done. Okay, so there's that. And you also can't allow a political party to choose a senile guy to, quote, run your country when every single person knows he's not running the country because he's senile. And no one's allowed to say so because it's mean. Stop. So I do think that's super important. It's just impossible to imagine myself ever getting involved in something like that. And not because I'm afraid, because I'm not afraid at all. I don't really care what happens to me, and I mean that. I mean that. But because how would I be good at that? Do you know what I mean? I don't think I would. And I think, I just can't imagine myself at a fundraiser or something and somebody like, well, actually, Zelensky's a lot like Churchill. And I just couldn't sit through it. I don't care how much money you're giving me. Zelensky is not like Churchill. Okay? Zelensky has tried to get my country where my children live in a nuclear war. And anyone who tries to get my children in a nuclear war is my enemy. And so I couldn't sit through that meal without making Ken Griffin mad. Oh, Ken Griffin, I'm a billionaire. Oh, shut up. You know nothing. And I've watched it. I interviewed a presidential candidate at one point who said, what do you think of Ukraine? Oh, well, I think, Ukraine is a sad regional conflict. I don't think Russia should have invaded. Fine. But it's not in our core national interest. Well, that's obviously true. And Ken Griffin calls the guy up and is like, you can't say that. And he's like, issues a statement next day like, I can't say that. Actually, Ukraine is really important. Zelensky's Churchill. I'm not naming names, but I will say I thought that was disgusting. And I liked the guy who did it, by the way. That's disgusting. You should be ashamed. You're a grown man, and you're taking orders from some moron, some guy who doesn't know anything, who may be good at, investing. It doesn't mean you're a good person, and it definitely doesn't mean you're wise. Wealth is not a measure of wisdom, and wisdom is all that matters. The evidence unmistakably shows an acceleration in whatever this dark force is in this country, whose only impulse is to destroy. Not to improve or create, but to destroy. And it's all around us. And the only way to stop it is with that moral strength I described. Guns won't stop it. They have more than we do. That's just true. And they're happy to use them. They're happy to use them. And when I hear Senator Dick Durbin, who might be the most evil member of the Senate, and it's quite a tight race for that title, when I hear Senator Dick Durbin say, maybe we should take some of the tens of millions of foreigners who've arrived, all of whom seem to be about 23 and in great shape, and hand them automatic weapons in our military, and give them badges and guns in our police departments, I'm wondering, what exactly is that?
Yes, what exactly is that? But if you notice, we've taken the discussion from the very negative to a glimmer of positive. And what is Tucker Carlson talking about here? He's talking about all of the problems that I've outlined to some degree. I didn't talk about Donald Trump being taken off the ballot in Colorado, how the Biden administration has persecuted and prosecuted a former president and anybody who has supported him, how they have put so-called insurrectionists from January 6th into jail and left them there to rot without bail or trial, how they have acted like an authoritarian regime. And Tucker Carlson mentions that, but he says it's the moral authority that is ultimately going to win the day for individual liberty. We have to fight back. We have to resolve to resist. And at the end of 2023, it's so important not to give up, not to let these cowards, these craven politicians win by default simply because they've got the talking points. Their talking points are meaningless. They're vacuous. And when you confront them with their talking points and you say, what do you mean by that? What the hell does that really mean? when you say you've been doing things for Canada. Yeah, you've been doing things all right. What does it mean when you say that you'll be there for Canadians? Well, you're there all right, doing bad things behind our backs and sometimes in front of us. But confront them with the truth, confront them with reality, and that's what common sense, conservatism, libertarianism is all about. It's about coming at the opponents of liberty, those who want you to serve the state, those who want serfdom, whether it's under the aegis of the COVID-19 pandemic, foreign wars, or fighting climate change. I mean, we have a madman of an energy, you can't tell the difference sometimes, of an environment minister, an environment climate change minister, Stephen Guilbeault, who wants to outlaw the gas-powered automobile by 2035. That's insane. He's a madman. He's not thinking rationally. That is not logical policy. But he wants to impose that dictatorial idea on all of us. And that's just one example. And it's because we have allowed our loss of freedom to become normalized through crises like the pandemic and other things that constantly stop us. We have become accustomed to freedom being taken away. We have to stop letting that being normalized. We have to stop being accustomed to have our freedom taken away, and we do need to fight back. We do need to say enough is enough, no more. I like what Polyev said recently about a party of mind your own business.
If I were to create a political party from scratch, it would be called the Mind Your Own Damn Business Party.
We need the state to get out of our lives. We need government out of our lives. And we need to raise our families and to assess our own lives by ourselves and not in servitude to the state. And that's what the woke progressives want. That's what the woke ideology is purporting and promoting. And we have got to remember we can stop it if we have the moral authority and the moral obligation to resist. So I'm going to end this on a positive note because it's very important to note that we haven't lost yet, but we have to know the stakes are high, and we have to understand that the future depends on what we do now and in the new year. So mobilize for freedom. Let those who love liberty be galvanized, not by fear, but by the enthusiasm they share for individual freedom and the rights that we always enjoyed in this country and we must possess again, and we must take them back if necessary. But that is the positive message I put out there now. We can fight back in 2024, and we can win. Hi, this is David Crayden from Crayden's Right and Stand on Guard. Join the resistance. Resolve to resist. Become a member of this station. I've been practicing journalism in one form or another for over 30 years. I've worked in print, radio, and television for a lot of prestigious publications and media outlets. I was an Armed Forces Public Affairs officer. I worked in Parliament Hill. I know how Ottawa works, and I know how corrupt federal government can be. But you can play a part in opposing Justin Trudeau's government and Justin Trudeau's plans for Canada. You can become a part of the Crayden's Right resistance. Now, I urge you today, please support this station in any way you can. Ring that bell, subscribe, because that ensures you're at least going to continue to be able to watch these episodes. You'll beat the algorithm. But more importantly, I need your financial support. I hate to ask, but that's what I'm doing. I made a decision to pursue independent media because I believed it was the best possible route for me to take as a journalist and as a concerned citizen of Canada. So you can become a part of that. And at only $5, you can become a part of that on YouTube, on Substack, and with Buy Me a Coffee, a one-time donation. But I need your support. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. If you've already done that, if you're already supporting the station, thank you. But if you haven't, make that decision today.